In life, we all encounter obstacles, and those obstacles come in all different shapes, sizes, and forms. The question is, how do we handle those obstacles? Do we attack them head on, or do we allow them to make us quit? Welcome to the No Quit Living podcast, where we aim to motivate and inspire listeners to never give up on themselves, their dreams, or their goals. We will interview successful people from all walks of life as they share their no-quit stories when they had the choice to give up or give in, but they didn't. We thank you for listening, and we hope to be that jolt of positivity as you go for your greatness. Welcome to episode number 160 of the No Quit Living podcast. I'm your host, Christopher J. Worth, and today's theme of the day is a positive attitude. Our quote of the day comes to us from John Wooden. Don't let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. Today's episode is sponsored by the good people over at West Fair Communications, who publish the Westchester County Business Journal and the Fairfield County Business Journal. These newspapers do a wonderful job in covering all aspects of the business world within two of the most influential markets in the New York metropolitan area. You can also take advantage of their daily news feeds, which keep track on the companies and thought leaders in these important regions. For more information, take a look at www.westfaironline.com. Trust me, once you start reading, you won't quit. It is a complete honor to bring you today's episode. For me, I'm always excited whenever I get to interview a former professional athlete. It would be beyond impossible to miss the excitement and positive attitude that Mohamed Massaquoi has for life and how he absolutely attacks every single day head on. When a horrible ATV accident ended his NFL career, Mohamed easily could have sulked, complained, or asked himself, why me? Instead, he is busy getting after it, furthering his education, and paying it forward for others. I hope you enjoy today's episode. Mo, I'd like to welcome you to the No Quit Living podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be on.
I appreciate it. So the first question we ask everybody is, are you ready to bring it today?
Of course, you have to bring it every day.
Now, I knew that would be your answer. So the number one objective of our show is to motivate and inspire our listeners to never give up. And I know you have a tough no-quit story of your own, and I wanted to know if you wouldn't mind just sharing that briefly with our listeners.
So I became an amputee about a year and a half ago, and I was involved in an ATV accident. And impact, my hand basically was damaged, and it resulted in my hand getting amputated. And just bouncing back from that, I'm a former athlete, played in the NFL for a number of years, and just resetting life, I guess, is my no-quit story, and just excited for what comes next.
You know, I know your story, and we talked briefly offline, but I have to ask you, just being an amputee and being a former NFL player, how is it that you have such a positive approach for what's coming next in your life?
So something that my dad and my wife, they both said, is that if there's valleys, there have to be mountaintops. And whenever you find yourself in a valley or a low place, knowing that there's a mountaintop that you should be at, that just motivates me every day just to keep moving forward, just to get to the top of my journey.
No, I think that's great advice. And being a former NFL player and a successful one, got to ask you, now that you're not playing on the field, what is it that you're doing off the field that I guess takes that competitive edge? Because knowing, again, you had a great college career and NFL career, what is it that you do on a day-by-day basis now?
So I'm a full-time speaker now, being able to use my story and my life experiences to go in and motivate and inspire people just to live their best life and to pursue the things that they're passionate about and really avoid living in fear or waiting for the perfect moment. In addition to that, I'm really excited to just got into this Harvard business program that functions as their executive MBA that I'll be starting at the end of November. And something I'm really excited about is, as an amputee now, I just have a soft spot for kids who are amputees. So I'm learning to play tennis so that I can throw a tennis tournament to raise money for kids to get their prosthetic devices paid for. So a lot going on, but all exciting.
Well, congratulations first off on being accepted into Harvard. The executive MBA program sounds amazing. And then in regards to your tennis tournament, do you have an official date for that?
So we're still working that out now, trying to figure out what makes sense and which location. So we're going through the logistical process now, but hoping to have it in May, June of next year. And I have to get good because I'm new at learning tennis, so I don't get kicked out of the the tournament before before I make it past the first round.
Well, it is your tournament, so maybe you might have to give yourself a bye automatically into the second round.
Yeah, I want to win it fair and square. I think the thing that I have to do is pick a really good partner.
Oh, okay, so it's doubles?
Yeah, it'll be doubles.
Okay, yeah, no, I was about to say the same thing. So if you know it's doubles, then just pick the best player on your team, and you should be good to go.
Yeah, if you know Roger Federer or any of those guys, tell them that I'm looking for a partner.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's May or June of next year. They might have some prior engagements, but definitely if I did know Federer, I would let you know. But unfortunately, I don't know him.
I appreciate that. We'll work on it.
So I got to ask you, how do you personally define success, or what does success look like for you?
For me, I think everyone has this vision of what they want to become, and that could be from CEO to being a great parent to pursuing a dream that they had. I don't view it in terms of monetary success or celebrity success. It's whatever your God-given potential is and striving to accomplish that. That's what I view as success.
No, I love that question, and the reason we asked that is because there is no right or wrong answer. It allows us to talk to our guests and kind of dig a little deep in that. And I think your answer is perfect because it's your answer and it's personalized to you. And I think it's all about each and every single day trying to become the best or a better version of yourself.
Yeah, for sure. For me, everybody runs their own race, and once you start to do things that you think will make other people happy or proud, or you're trying to fit into a certain box because you think that's more socially acceptable, I think that's when people run into challenges versus whatever it is uniquely gifted to you, pursuing that and just being happy with the outcome of wherever that leads you is what I think everybody should pursue.
If I asked you to define yourself in only one word, what would that one word be?
Define myself in one word?
Yep.
That's a really good question. I would probably say excited. And the reason I wake up every day just excited in life, thinking about my accident and, being close to that potentially being fatal. I am just excited of every day that I have a chance to do something new and use the time that God's given me on this earth.
One of the things we often talk about are daily or morning rituals. And speaking about you waking up every day excited, I was curious, do you have a specific morning or daily routine that you swear by?
So I wake up early. I'm like a 5:30. Sleeping in is probably 6:30 for me. So I try to get into the gym real early, get a workout in, say prayers, read some scripture, and then I'll jump into my day depending on what it has. But just to be able to break a sweat, get a good workout in, reset my mind for whatever the day has to offer is probably my morning ritual.
No, I think it's important that we all have something that we do, and I too am a early morning gym person, and for me it just sets my day up, and I know that I kind of have things going as I'd like. So one of the things we're looking to do is we always try to add value to our listeners for each and every episode. And I wanted to ask you if maybe you've read something recently or perhaps you're reading something now that you'd like to recommend to our listeners.
So I think just one, in general, a great app that everyone should download is Scribed. And the reason being it one has a lot of ebooks on there, but it also has audiobooks. And as a person's traveling or going into work, it gives them a great chance to consume information from great authors. The book that I'm reading right now or listening to right now is Great by Choice by Jim Collins. And it basically talks about these companies that did luck dictate their success or did some other thing and how they achieved 10x results in markets that other people didn't take advantage of. And probably about 3/4 of the way through it. So it's a really good read or listen.
Now, did you say that the app is called Strive or Scribe?
Scribe.
Gotcha.
So it's SCRIBD, I want to say.
Okay. And I'll check out. We'll put it in the show notes as well. I have not heard of that, so I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, it's like a Netflix for books.
I like that. It's like old school Cliff Notes, right? So it's Netflix even better for books, right?
Yeah.
So here's maybe a tough question for you, but assuming the 20-year-old version of yourself would have listened, what's the one piece of advice you would have liked to have given to 20-year-old Mo?
Just being more intentional with time and what I did on day to day. And what I mean by that is just making priority for the things that I deemed as important and keeping my long-term goals in mind. I think when we're younger, we figure out that we think that we have more time than we actually do, and sometimes we compromise some of the things that we need to do, whether it be just being immature or not knowing the impact of doing or not doing something. So I would have been more intentional with my decisions and my time.
I think that's such a powerful word, more intentional. And I think, as you said, it's fortunately and unfortunately something that happens as you get older, is you appreciate things differently. And not that you don't or we didn't appreciate them when we were younger, but as you get older, you just look at things from, I think, a different lens.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I tend to listen to older people a lot more now as I get older, just because I know that is coming from somewhere. The wisdom, whatever they're speaking, is coming from some type of life of experience. And I don't want to miss that.
No, I think that's great advice. Now, here's an interesting question for you. If you could have dinner with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
If I could have dinner with anyone, my God. I'm a big music guy, so it would be in that Sean Combs, Sean Carter, Jay-Z, Diddy. One of them. I'm just a fan of what they've been able to do, really with no formal education, the backgrounds that they come from, which mirrors a lot of the backgrounds that people like myself come from, and just the risks that they took to get to where they've gotten to, the decisions that they've made to get, the sacrifices that they've made. So it will be one of those individuals. Now, maybe a tough follow-up question. If you could only have dinner with one of them, and you only had to pick one, who would you pick? We're their friends, so maybe I choose one and the other one drops in.
That was probably the most politically correct way to answer that, so kudos for that.
Yeah, I don't want to run into one of them, and they're like, hey, I would have had dinner with you, but you chose the other Sean. Touche. So here's a question for you. One of the things, obviously, we talk about with No Quit is the whole concept of giving up. And I find that when people face adversity and they have their back against the wall, why is it that you think some people give up and they throw in the towel, while others don't quit? What do you think the reason is behind that? I don't know. For me, I just realized that there's so much life to live, and when you realize that it can change or it can end at any moment, you just realize that the value of taking action now. If you're on this earth, you have the opportunity to do something special, something great that you're uniquely qualified to do. Like, there's certain things that you can do no matter how hard I try that I wouldn't be able to do, and that's okay because we have different gifts. And once you go, for me, and going through adversity, you start to understand your gifts more. You start to understand what you appreciate more, even as you lose different things. So that's part of the reason I'm excited about life. I can't speak to anyone else, but anyone who may be in that place of giving up, they should just know that whatever it is that they want to accomplish or achieve is still very possible. No, I think that's great advice. And one of the topics that we're famous for talking about, not only on our show, but when we do our speaking events and coaching, is the word accountability. And I wanted to ask you, Mo, what does accountability mean to you? I think it's just doing doing the basic things that you're supposed to be doing. Whether it's be a great parent or whether it's whatever your job description is literally just doing what you're supposed to be doing. And sometimes you need other people to hold you accountable because we all go through our ups and downs in life. Sometimes you're feeling a little bit better, or sometimes priorities get shifted, and having people who understand you and can call you out on certain things and can be a shoulder to cry or lean on, it just holds you more accountable. No, I like that. And one of the things that comes up quite often is the concept of accountability partners. And I think
no matter where you are in life, it's always a good thing to have that person that, like you said, holds you accountable. And it's not that you don't hold yourself accountable, but sometimes having somebody else that, in essence, you answer to and they answer to you, I think that's a good mix between them.
Yeah, life is to be lived in community. I don't think that, the nomad route of just doing everything yourself or having all the answers yourself or not relying on other people. I think that's having friends, having family, having a helpmate is something that we all need, because no one's designed to just go alone.
No, I think that's so important. Is nobody is designed to just go alone. I think a lot of people try to do it, and obviously you're getting into the business world and entrepreneurial world now, and I know you're coaching and working with some athletes, and there's some of their entrepreneur studies and some of their potential jobs. But I think a lot of people unfortunately find out that it's much easier to go about life and business with somebody else as opposed to always trying to do it yourself.
Yeah, different perspectives are good. Different ways of doing things are good. Just a person to talk to, a person to bounce ideas off of, a person to take some of the burden off of you. There's so many reasons as to why having good people around, a person to call you out when you're out of bounds. There's all different type of things that is good to have an accountability partner for.
Yeah, no, I could not agree more. So we're going to change lanes here for a minute into what we call our hot seat questions. And very simply, all we ask is that you spit out the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
No pressure here.
Let's get into it.
All right. If you had one last meal and you could absolutely choose anything, what would you choose for your last meal?
If I could have one last meal, man, it would be seafood, some type of shrimp, lobster type dish.
I think I know this question, but favorite sport?
Basketball.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. Favorite team?
Georgia Bulldogs. Doesn't matter what it is.
All-time favorite movie?
All-time favorite movie? James Bond series. Pick. That's my favorite movie series. So I'd say somewhere in there.
All-time favorite book?
All-time favorite, the Bible.
Favorite singer, group, or band?
Favorite singer, group, or band? Of all time, it's a toss-up. You throw Jay-Z in there, you throw J. Cole in there, you throw Nipsey Hussle in there.
Okay, can't go wrong with any of those.
Mm.
Now, if you were stuck in a foxhole and you could only choose one person to have your back, who would it be?
Whoo! I'll go with my wife.
Good answer, and hopefully she will be listening to this, so you'll earn some extra credit as well.
Yeah.
So now, if you could magically snap your finger to exactly 1 year from now, and you could have accomplished anything, what would it that you'd like to have accomplished be?
1 year from now, I will be complete with the Harvard program. I would have had a successful tennis tournament that impacts a ton of youth, and we'll be able to build off of that. Being able to consult and help athletes in their business ventures at a higher level, at scale, that continuing to get in shape, which is something that I'm focused on, of getting back into, true pro shape and just enjoying life.
Well, I think those are all great things to go for, and I think just knowing you as I do, you definitely could accomplish that. So before I let you go, Mo, I wanted to ask you if you have any parting words you'd like to leave with our listeners.
Go for it. Whatever that it is. If you're thinking it, don't talk yourself out of it. Don't tell yourself no. Go for it.
I love it. And then last question, what's the best way for our listeners to follow or connect with you or to find out about some of those amazing things that you're doing?
So all my Instagram handles are Iron Massaquoi, IronMassaqui, kind of taking the Iron Man moniker with my prosthetic device now. And my website is just my name, www.mohamedmassaquoi.com. So I'll be uploading interesting content on there as I continue to go through this journey.
Well, listen, my man, I truly, truly appreciate not only your time, but sharing your story with us. And I wish you Nothing but the best with all of your endeavors, and I look forward to hopefully talking to you soon.
Likewise, and thank you for the great work that you're doing. I know you're inspiring and impacting millions of people.
Thank you for listening to episode number 160. From the beginning of our interview right up until the end, Mo's positivity and excitement was awesome. Even though he had a devastating ATV accident, he hasn't let that accident get in the way of him taking action and making the most out of each and every single day. When I looked at Mo's Facebook page, at the top there's a quote that truly speaks about who he is and how he approaches life every day. The quote says, "A wise man will make more opportunities than he finds." In addition to going back to school at Harvard in their executive MBA program, Mo is also hosting his first ever tennis tournament to raise money for amputees. There are certain people in life that get after it, while some talk about it and someday want to maybe do something. Mo clearly gets after it. One of the things that Mo said I absolutely loved. He stated the fact that now he understands the value of taking action now. So with that in mind, I'll wrap up this episode and pose that exact question to you. What action have you only spoken about, alluded to, or possibly mentioned in passing? Decide right now that you will take action. Take specific action today to get you one step closer to whatever it is that you want to accomplish. Take one step today and then another tomorrow as you go for your greatness. And lastly, to our listeners, thank you. We truly appreciate your time, and we hope our episodes inspire you to keep on attacking life and never giving up. To quote Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, it's always too early to quit.